Hello, everyone.
Well, hi. How's it going?
Oh, welcome to our season 1, episode 3 listen through.
Yeah.
Just going off of the episode title alone, I think I know where this one goes, but
Yeah, I said last week that so much stuff happened in episode 2 that I swear did not happen until later episodes. So I intentionally did not listen through to this one, just so that I don't know where it ends. As a reminder, so we're doing this today on Tuesday. We've been doing this on Saturday, but I am not available next Saturday. So again, we'll be doing that on the following Tuesday. And then the next Saturday, Kim is not available. So we'll be back Tuesday, then Saturday.
yes.
And then we'll kind of see where it lives, if we want to do another story arc, or if everybody's all director commentaried out for now. We'll find out.
Yeah, but so far, I've really been enjoying these. I've really liked hanging out with you, Rev, and hanging out with chat and answering all these questions and just sort of reliving this first arc that I haven't listened to in forever.
Well, shall we?
Yes, let's get started.
Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to tell chat before we get started, but
Mike says, "Hey, the more Critshow streams we get, the better."
That's fair. I mean, I do like this. This is enjoyable.
I am really enjoying this. So yeah, we'll see how we feel after July 3rd, which is when we should be finishing up this first arc. But there will probably be more of these at some point. Yeah. Panda Max says he's Revs and whatevs. Mother of Cats says, "I love that y'all are doing this. I just restarted season 1 a few weeks ago. Nice. All right, let's get started and get those questions ready, chat.
All right. Hey, welcome to the Critshow. This is Rev, and instead of the normal one solitary floating voice in the void, we're actually all here today for this little bit of introduction.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Because we want to take just a second to give some thanks. There are some people out there for numerous reasons that without their help or support, this never would have come together. So first off, I would like to thank for all their technical help with the audio equipment and really just teaching us how to do a lot of these things that we didn't know how to do. Jeff O'Brien, John Myers, Chris Burchild, and Michael Jackson. No, not that Michael Jackson.
I'd also like to thank Castle Sound and especially Brian Schrader of Castle Sound.
I would like to thank my girlfriend Larissa for being very supportive of me and not minding when I'm gone.
I would really like to thank Jake's girlfriend Larissa for all of her support.
You mind yourself here. You are on thin ice.
With me being away for
you guys
15,
don't realize
20 hours.
How much larger Jake is than Tass. Jake is like 2 Tasses in a trench coat. Also, on the artistic side, we would like to thank Emily Callahan and Cassie Sandra.
And our previous game masters and players who have helped us along our tabletop RPG adventure. Tony and Fritz and Adam and Guy and Todd and Eli and all of my other gaming pals.
Really, I've had a rough time lately, so I just want to thank you guys for dealing with me and each other and all of the ridiculousness that we've been through to get this up, and I love you guys. And whoever came up with that pre-cooked bacon that you can just throw in the microwave, God.
I was about to pat you on the shoulder, take your hand gingerly in mine, but now I just really want some of that bacon.
I know.
I'd also like to thank Harvey. He sleeps on the couch when we all wish we could. In the way of content and structure and inspiration, I'd also like to thank Eddie Webb, Matt Boucher, and Zero Fox.
I would like to thank our listener.
And we'd also like to thank the Russian bot who is giving us all the reviews and ratings. Das Vidonia.
He's good. Very much like show. 5-star.
I'd also like to thank Shield Maiden Shots, the Cripple Threat, and the JQ HQ. And I'm sure there are a number of other people that we should thank, and I'm sure we will get there along the way as our addled minds remember. That's all for now. Thank you, and enjoy the Critshow.
Have we leveled up yet?
Are you not tracking it?
I am, but is the adventure over? Do we get the extra experience.
You're like in the middle of a fight.
Yeah.
No, the adventure's not. I
Well,
mean, the adventure's over if you die.
If I die,
Yeah.
if I die, do I level up? I'm just excited. I have big plans for what I want to get next.
I think when you die, it's like Diablo. You just fall over and everything you own flies off of you into a pile.
No, I don't like that. I want to level up instead.
I kind of like that. I'd totally
Yeah.
get all
You'd
the
be like,
crap out
hey,
off
look,
of his
a
dead body and
hammer
everything.
and-
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, we get to loot.
Nice.
I didn't know we get to loot. He said it.
What kind of tabletop game do you not get to loot in?
Well, that's fair.
What kind of loot? All right, right now, what kind of loot would each of us drop?
Like our characters or us?
Nope, like regular you.
Oh no.
My phone, my wallet, my keys. The end.
I'd drop about 10 slices of fully cooked, unchewed bacon.
Why?
Because that's how I eat it. I just open my gullet like a pelican and just jam it down in there.
I would drop a rare Pokemon number 151 Mew dog tag that I got when the first Pokemon movie came out because it's attached to my keys.
Oh, nice.
Rev, what would you?
Oh yeah, you exist in this game now.
Yeah.
I do exist in this game.
Yeah. Why? Why did you write yourself? How did you write yourself?
How
in?
dare you is what we're trying to say.
Where
No
do
game
you
master
get
should-
off?
Well, you know what? I was afraid to not write myself in because I know that one of your guys' level up options is to create a second hunter. So I feel like I had to make myself exist in the world before one of you bastards
before
made
we
me
made you.
and started controlling me.
Oh man, I want to think about what playbook I would have made you.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there like an idiot baby playbook? I'm sorry, that was uncalled for.
Oh my God.
You're a good friend, Brandon.
You're a good friend, TJ.
I mean, is there a dashing man?
Jake, you
playbook?
take two harm. Yeah, one of the things that I want to have in this game obviously is an homage to so many things. There's, elements of Buffy and, Ash versus the Evil Dead and Supernatural and just everything. One of the things that I really love about the Dresden Files is I love that you get characters that if Harry saves them and can help them, they become allies and they might pop up. And so I wanted to have myself there kind of as a test for this. I'm in a bad situation right now, so my fate is up in the air. And depending on what happens to me will depend on what kind of resource it becomes to you. And I think that'll be a good model for me in the future as we add other people or characters into the world.
This is going to be a terrible model for that when we accidentally let your ass die.
Absolutely, absolutely. When I become one with the soul bat.
And they don't like light. They actually, that's half of why I'm calling it, stole and destroyed our flashlights, our phones.
Oh, well, that makes sense. They're very tactically minded, actually. It's very intelligent. That's a soul bat. You lunge forward, assuming that your hand is going to land true and grab this hammer, and you're just going to turn this whole motion into a strike at this thing. And you don't grab it, and you just pinwheel forward, planting your face in its back, and you feel like it's starting to grip onto your head and your face. Tess, as you pull Jake away from the creature, you see TJ run up and strike it with his nunchucks. A large head emerges from the creature's shoulder and clamps down on TJ. You see him wrench free and stagger back a few steps before collapsing to the ground, the shirt on his chest slowly turning to a deep scarlet red. Tash. Okay, so we'll stop there for a moment. So again, we're going to try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible from the beginning. But yeah, foreshadowing already in these episodes of things that will come. Boy, it was interesting to listen to that list in the very beginning of like people to thank because it, and I've talked about this before, but the number of people who work on this in some way, shape, or form to make sure that the quality of everything that you see from the website to our social media to the actual show that you hear is impressive. The number of people who lend a hand in some artistic way or another. If you haven't seen those people, head over to our website and read their bios, see their fancy art.
I know.
We're actually going to get to see a couple of them come July. We've finally got a setup with Wes to come back and do some photo shootings.
I'm very excited. I'm gonna head out and meet all of these lovely people who I haven't seen since I've been cast.
Will almost be 2 years.
Yeah, almost 2 years. And yeah, do some photo shoots and play some games and do some streams. It's gonna be really fun.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that popped up in that intro.
I'm just stuck on just Tass mentioning uncooked bacon twice in like 3 minutes.
That means you haven't been around Tass long enough.
Well, no,
you're not
I
used to the
again
frequency of
haven't seen him in almost 2 years.
All right, here we go.
Tash, you can tell from your training with IPT and the healing that you've done that TJ is bleeding out and he's not going to make it very much longer.
I want to slide, if TJ's kind of fallen back from it, I want to slide over to him and try to patch him up.
Roll it.
Here it is.
That is a...
First medic slide.
Is that the first medic slide?
It is.
9. So, woof. Do you want stabilized or healed? I guess to heal you 2 is the more immediate.
Well, if like I get healed to 2,
If you get
do I
healed,
become stabilized?
That's, I don't know.
Yeah.
This could be incorrect. If anyone out there knows better, you can email us at thecritshowpodcast@gmail.com. But I'm going to say that because it is a healing move, that it will also stabilize him.
I was so wrong. We do remedy that very shortly.
You have to
Because he is
stabilize.
Yeah, that stabilizing and healing is a different thing. That's why, because his move is, which of these do you want to do?
Yeah, you heal or
So-
stabilize.
Yeah, so why would one do the other? And
Yeah, so it was like on a mixed
Yeah.
success, you get both things. Wait, what?
Yeah. yeah.
Because he is healed above that unstable point. It may be wrong since your move specifically says pick one,
Yeah.
There it is.
but then the recovery chart says +4 harm wounds require a healing move, time in an infirmary or hospital or magical healing. So you used a healing move. So we'll see what happens. Maybe someone will let us know. Who knows better?
Yeah.
So yeah, you've been healed for 2 damage.
Yay!
Jake, you want that hammer, don't you?
That depends. Can I get it and still hurt this thing? Like, am I running out of time? Because I can punch it pretty good. Not quite as good, but still pretty good.
Read a bad situation.
7.
You get 1 hold.
I don't know how this resolves. I'm thinking what's the best way to protect the victims?
Mm-hmm.
Just in terms of like, I mean, yeah, I guess that's it. What's the best way to protect the victims? Like, what's my best course of action in stopping this thing from being dangerous?
Mm-hmm. You stand up and you kind of spin around trying to make this decision of, do I go back for the hammer? Do I try to just use my bare fists? And in these beams of light, you see hair and you see skin and you see a t-shirt. You can see glimpses of me underneath this. And you realize that he told you time is short on this thing bonding. And you think because of your ability to harm something, regardless of what it is, just that your nature hurts evil, that if you can get up there and grab a hold of the pieces around the areas where you see the person underneath, you can probably pull it away and almost shuck it away like an ear of corn.
I'm going to do that.
All right, roll kick some ass.
I'm going to spend a point of luck
Yeah,
All
boy.
right, so you are going to use a point of luck.
to turn that 3 into a 12.
I'm so glad you did. You move towards this creature and your hands start to glow again, and you grab on to some of the goo that's on a shoulder, and you grab onto some goo that's right above the face, and you start to just pull down and flex. You look like Captain America Civil War bicep porn pose as you rip this thing away. And you do it so completely that it almost comes off like a wetsuit. And you are able to put your elbow in and knock me backwards and hold what is left of this thing up to the light. And it burns away. And then there's a moment of silence.
Also, the first time, not the first time that we will talk about Jake having bicep porn.
Yeah. I was like,
To the point where we have, I believe we've got some photos of from Wes of Jake's bicep porn.
Really, there aren't enough. Jake will be very embarrassed if this gets clipped and shown to him. There are not enough descriptions really of Jake's muscles for me. I think we need to do more of it.
That's fair.
Take
That's
me
fair.
away. Paint me a word
Yeah.
picture.
First thing I'm going to do is slide over to you and check on you.
Oh, God. You have to get to the source.
Is it the locker?
Yes, it won't be gone long. And I pass out.
Dope.
Oh,
I want to
shit.
like pick you up and put you somewhere slightly less out in the middle of everything.
Okay. Yeah, there's a concession stand right there. You can tuck me in next to the M&Ms.
Okay.
That's how I would
And
have wanted it.
I set a box gently on your chest.
Aw.
TJ, get back in the rig, man.
Okay, I get back in. Is there some of that stuff inside of it still?
There's not, actually. You open up and you realize that when you got ejected, that it must have got ejected too and just got caught in the backlights.
Nice.
So you're inside the suit. You push the lock button.
Yep.
The back closes again. The airbag deflates.
All right, follow us. And I'm going to lead him through the theater up to that backstage door.
You make your way down the hallway into the dark room, and you see the stairs.
All right, it's down there.
Okay, I go down the stairs.
All right, so you get down the stairs, and you can see all the light that's coming out of you, that there is this goo pouring out of a locker. And as your light shines across the room, you can see that the goo is kind of churning and bubbling. It's not going away, but it's reacting negatively.
I want to go up to the locker, I think, and like put a hand on it and like be like, get ready to blast this shit and just open that locker.
You open the locker and you see a backpack, and it seems like all of this goo is pouring out of this backpack.
I think I want to just hit the backpack with my hammer.
Just like shoot the backpack, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I want to just Gallagher this backpack.
Okay, roll kick some ass.
7.
As you step forward to try to Gallagher this thing, you do 3 harm,
I do.
and you take 2 as the stuff that you're standing in that's been pouring out of this locker starts to burn away the soles of your shoes and into the soles of your feet.
Oh, God.
Wowie.
Is that 2 before my armor?
Yes.
I'm stepping on fire ants. I'm like, I'm like kind of step back and out of the puddle.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to pull out the grenade I took from TJ earlier and say, alley-oop, and I'm going to chuck that thing into the locker.
All right, roll it. Kick some ass.
6.
Oh.
Nice. I'm standing right there.
Oh, God. Can I help out? Can I sort of reach out and try and like alley-oop, like spike it the rest of the way into the locker?
Sure. Yeah, you are right up front, so this is all your business if it goes wrong.
Oh, baby.
Mama.
10.
Baby doll. Yes.
Nice. All right, so yeah, you spike this thing.
I just go dunk, boop,
And you-
slap it into the locker.
Yeah, it goes into the locker and it explodes. The locker shatters, as does part of the back wall.
Nice.
So you all stagger back and you're able to shield yourself from the blast. There's smoke, there's debris.
Is there still sloshing?
Roll read a bad situation.
I'll help him out.
By shedding light on
By
the
shedding
area.
light on the situation.
Okay, so you're going to step sideways. I like that you're
It
just assuming he failed.
it
so
doesn't
you're helping
matter.
out right away.
You can't help me out. I got
Oh,
a 5.
Yeah, you think it's gone. You think that the gray stuff is gone. That grenade seemed to destroy whatever it was that was allowing this thing to manifest into this world.
I think we did it, and I'm going to start moving into like the smoke where I know the locker last was.
And as you do, you feel something start to crawl up your leg.
I think I was wrong.
I'm going to shine light on his leg.
Yeah, there sure is stuff on the ground still, and it's starting to make its way up his leg. And you can see in the light now, even through the dust, that the backpack is shredded, but there are like miscellaneous items there, and this stuff is still pouring off of them. Roll protect someone, because you're going to try to use this light to get this thing off of his leg.
Yes, I am, because gross. I got an 8 on to protect someone.
And protect someone allows one hunter to protect another hunter by possibly putting themselves in harm's way, which is exactly what happens on an 8. TJ leans in to burn this thing off of Jake, forgetting again that he left the fingers off of this mech. And you see the goo slide back inside the suit. Much more of it than previously is rolling up inside of the suit. Like, it is almost the reverse effect you see coming from the locker.
I hit the eject button.
Roll act under pressure.
10.
You think for a minute that this thing is going to gum up your hands. You're not going to be able to push the button, but you hit it and you eject backwards. So you guys hear this suit of armor close and start to creak and groan as it is filled to bursting and starts to crack and lights start to pop and go out.
Oh, jeez. I'm digging through my pockets. I got nothing else.
Yeah,
Like,
as you
we're
dig
gonna
through your
die.
pockets, you find that ticket stub that you found outside by Tass's car. As you look at this ticket, you glance up. In the light of the armor that's starting to fail, you still see that there are a bunch of items inside of the locker. That backpack was destroyed, but there are various items inside of it.
Oh, well, investigate the locker then.
All right,
Yeah.
roll it.
That would be an 11.
You get a hold 2.
What is being concealed here in correlation with those items in
Right.
the locker?
So inside the locker, you see that there is a notepad. You see that there's like a lunchbox that's all beaten up. And you see an old copy of the script for Macbeth. And as you look closer, it seems like this stuff that is pouring out of the locker is actually coming from this open script.
What are you doing?
This shit is coming out of this book.
Okay, well, step back then.
Kick some ass.
A 6.
TJ steps back to try to help you get out of the way, and in doing so kind of steps into your line of fire, which causes you to shoot into the ceiling, and some debris falls on you, and you take 1 harm.
Is that physical?
Yeah.
Okay, then, and I'm okay, though.
So you see these guys.
Laurel and Hardy over here.
The room is now almost completely dark as these lights shatter on the suit.
I guess I want to take a swing at the script.
Okay, roll it.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, thank you.
11. I hold the hammer up like commanding the lightning and just bring it down on the script as hard as I can.
Great. You hit this book and you see that the light that you hit it with condenses inside the book and spins around and then shatters out. And you see the book blow to pieces, and all of the shadow and all of the inky goo just dissipate. And as the suit uses the last of the battery, no longer straining from the pressure inside because the entity inside has been destroyed or sent back to where it came from, the lights go out. But the normal lights kick back on, and you're able to see this green room with lockers and couches.
I'm going to sit down and bleed from the nose for a little bit.
Okay. You guys are reclining, relaxing on the couches, trying to catch your breath. Everybody's a little bloodied, a little beat up. And you hear shuffling in the room upstairs.
Oh, son of a bitch. What now?
I leap to my feet, hammer at the ready.
I roll off the couch that I'm laying on and begrudgingly get to my feet.
I just remain laying on the floor and point the shotgun in the direction of the opening.
After a couple moments, you see a slightly brighter light, a flashlight, pointing down the stairs and kind of sweeping around.
Oh.
Hello?
Hello?
Rev?
Yeah, did you kill it?
We think?
Good. And he starts coming down the stairs.
And it is just normal you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Hold the mag light.
Then, yeah, I'll lower my weapon. Are you okay?
Yeah, I think so. Holy crap, thanks. Like, how the hell did you do that?
We found a script, a book.
No. I mean, how the hell did you pull that thing off of me?
You know, just channeled some divine might.
He has god powers.
And ripped it right off of you.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Which god?
Unclear.
Oh, yee.
Norse?
That seems...
Presumably, I hold up Mjolnir. And I'm like, remember this whole thing? This happened at your house? And
Oh, Night Mage, the god of cosplay.
no, I don't think so.
No, that's not who you get your powers from.
I don't know. I haven't messaged him
Okay.
to ask.
That's
I could. Hold on. I'm going to get out my phone and get on Facebook Messenger.
All right.
Night Mage, are you my god? ?
For anybody out there listening, if you don't know Night Mage, you should find him. He is one of the kindest cosplayers out there, and he's actually got a presidential award for the amount of charity work that he did in, I think, 2000. I'm going to say the wrong date, so I won't say one.
Oh, wait. They got the 3 dots. It looks like he's responding. No, this is just a winky emoji. I'm not sure what that means.
It says, who dis?
Who dis? We are on Facebook. You know who dis is.
Sorry, unclear. Can't, but the signal's
Breaking
bad.
up.
Going through a tunnel.
Oh, did you also see my sweet armor that I made?
Oh, did you? Why does that look like Tass's car?
Okay, this is all going to be kind of a shock to you, bub, but we're honest-to-God monster hunters. I know. It's hard to believe. It's a little crazy, This is my first mission. I still don't believe it. We just saw a monster. It was crazy.
Wait, this is your first mission?
Yeah.
That's pretty damn impressive. You guys took out a soul bat on your first mission.
Yeah, well, wait,
a minute,
what the
hold on.
hell?
You know what a soul bat is?
Yeah, it's like whenever someone has a widely held superstition, something that people really believe in superstitiously and get really passionate about and angry about, like that energy, that anger has a ramification on the world, and soul bats are able to condense that, and they're able to use that as a portal to come through, and then if they attach to the host, then the anchor, of course, doesn't matter after that point, but then they're bonded to it, and they're in the world, and they can feed off of negative energy.
I look at like you and I look at Tass and I'm like, is he who you called?
No.
How do you know all this?
This is part of what I do. The guardians of the ley lines, a big part of our job is to just research and to know stuff about creatures.
All right, news to me.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, I think everybody's maybe keeping a few secrets. And I kind of look at all three of you around the room.
Well, okay, fair.
Okay, so these ley lines. Let's say these two don't hunt monsters like I work with an organization. So they
right.
probably don't know what it is.
Oh, that's fair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why don't you explain it so they know.
So ley lines are kind of where magical energies from other worlds or other dimensions collect. And so they're areas of great power where magic works better, where if you could find a way you can channel the magic and maybe do things that you normally couldn't do before, things that were above kind of your abilities or the things that you can normally do but more powerfully.
It's more powerfully what happens there.
So kind of like the Sanctum Sanctorum, like in Doctor Strange?
Well, kind of. There's more than just the three, and we don't really know where they all are because they're almost think of them like gold veins in a mountain. You don't know where it is until you stumble across it, and then you don't know how deep it is until you kind of prospect in it.
Oh.
So yeah, like I don't live here to guard it. It's one of the ones that I am supposed to check on when there's a problem.
So there's one here in Indianapolis.
There's one here in the basement of this theater.
Oh, they're like that small of scale.
Yeah, it's like a crack. It could be anywhere from 20 feet long to maybe only half a foot.
Oh, who do you take orders from? Like you saying this like somebody tells you to do this?
Yeah, it's really it's the order of the ley line. I don't like that. You asked me that question last night, and I sure didn't come up with a better name. In the in-between.
Okay, so we're kind of piecing this all together. Clearly,
one of those moments I was like, that's too, I can't cut that. That has to stay. And that's the order of the ley line, I guess.
Are we ever going to meet more of the order of the ley line?
Phenomenal question. I mean, it's kind of gotten pushed to the wayside.
Kind of has, yeah. What was your decision to make Rev the kind of like pseudo expert playbook?
Honestly, it was just kind of a nod to the playbooks that we had picked when we sat down as a group and decided, if this was real life and we were this character, which playbook would we be?
Mm-hmm.
And the expert was the one that made the most sense for me. And so, I've said this before early on, there are a couple of NPCs that are kind of half of a playbook, that there are certain things because the team had no magic, there were certain people they could go to get help with certain things. And so, I'm establishing Rev here since he was saved. Like I talked about earlier with the whole Dresden Files thing, that if there is a problem that's, XYZ, this is someone they could go to for help.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Man, now I'm just galaxy braining about how different this would have been had Jake not used that point of luck to save you.
I know, right?
But yeah, Jeremy was also about to ask if we'll ever meet the rest of the order of the ley line.
Yeah, it's hard to say because because so much they have been steered so far away from what it was Rev was initially doing to kind of giving him a new job. It's
yeah,
it's hard to know.
It's true. Let's see. So question, this mystery has minimal investigation during the monster hunt and a lot of investigating when the soul bat is defeated. Was that a deliberate choice or just the best way to set up the broader story?
Really, it was just the way that they interacted with the world. They did not start trying to understand or really scrutinize the creature until they were fighting it head on. And so I think that was I think it was just more so me reacting to what they were doing and giving them the appropriate moves. And, the further they go into the story, just like I think any monster hunter doing something for the first time, they start to, oh, you know what, we should put a little more time into this before it's in front of us, because things got pretty hairy there in the fight because they didn't know those things.
Mm-hmm.
And there's even something in there that happened that we'll find out much later had to happen to defeat the Soul Bat.
Yes.
That they don't even know that they did. They did it. They checked it off the list without knowing they checked it off. And because they didn't, search to get that, I didn't tell them about it until it became relevant again. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Shall we?
Yeah.
Let's go.
So we're kind of piecing this all together. Clearly, some stuff was going on. Why did you come here to check on this?
I think for the same reason that you did. Someone died here, so I just wanted to make sure that everything was all right. And when I got here, that thing, the Soul Bat, was waiting. And not like, oh, I went and interacted with whatever was anchoring it. I mean, it was waiting in the door, and it was on me.
Like it ambushed you?
Yeah, like it was like a trap.
Is that normal?
No, not at all. You have to interact with the thing that is its anchor for it to even have a remote chance of trying to bond to you.
That leaves a lot of unanswered stuff.
So what do we do now? Is it done? Did we get it?
I mean, what did you guys see?
A copy of Macbeth with a bunch of the goo pouring out, and we smashed it and blew it up and seemed to go away.
Well, that makes sense. I guess a copy of Macbeth in an old theater. There's plenty of animosity and ill feelings around that, I'm sure. I can't believe people put so much weight in that superstition.
Well, it worked.
Yeah, it sure did.
Okay, so we destroyed the book. The thing stops coming, but how would it be out? Is it, how do I ask you this? After we got it off of you, it came after us. Is there any possibility that that designer interacted with it, still died in the process, then the thing was just free and looking around for someone?
I don't think so. It wouldn't kill someone unless it had a host. Like, it's smart enough to know that it's got a bond in this world to be able to stay. Like, they actively work to get across that barrier.
The guy dying didn't have anything to do with the Soul Bat coming into existence, probably.
I mean, not as far as I could tell, but I mean, like I said, I kind of walked in the door and it was on me, so I didn't get to inspect where the guy had died.
Let's go do that, I guess.
That's not a bad call.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Actually, you guys mind coming with me for a minute? I should go check the basement.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I lead you guys upstairs and through the back of the theater into another hallway, and we go into the costume shop. And at the back of the costume shop, there is a door, and I pull a key out and I unlock the door, and we start to go down those stairs that are behind that door. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about kind of as we're traveling?
So when did you start this again?
Gosh, about 15 years ago.
What?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I travel so much. That's why I live in different places. It's kind of...
You said it was theater stuff.
Well, I mean, it was. I still had to find regular work. Being a guardian of a ley line doesn't really pay the bills.
Also, technically, this was theater work because it happened in a theater.
Yeah, the guy who gave me this location, I think he has a little bit at least of a sense of humor. But before I was just kind of floating. They don't have as many people as there are ley lines. And so when you first join, it's kind of like, well, here are all the ones that need to be checked on. You do it now.
All this time, you could have told us about this, and we could have had so much fun.
I mean, if you think that going into old buildings, walking into the basement, and then reading books at night instead of sleeping on ancient rituals and monsters is fun, then absolutely.
Well, now that you mention it,
Yeah,
probably not.
I don't think it's the same kind of stuff you guys might be doing at night.
So how many ley lines do you know of?
I know of 4.
How many, total does the organization know exist?
That I don't know. I just know the ones that I have been given the locations of to check on.
Compartmentalized information.
Yeah.
So if he ever gets caught by the enemy...
I think it in part might be that they go away or it gets used up for some purpose if, someone's casting a really large spell or doing something, I think sometimes some of that energy goes away. I've seen one. I used to know where like 7 were, and I've seen ones just be empty.
Wait, back up. TJ, what did you just say?
About compartmentalized information?
No,
And if the enemy ever caught him?
That.
I meant like...
Is there any kind of concentrated situation that would be working against you guys? Something like, I don't know how to even word this, werewolves that band together. Is there something that would have placed the soul bat here?
I mean, not that I can think of. It's not like these are things that are, I guess think of them like natural resources.
Yeah.
They're there and people need to use them sometimes. And so we tell people the location and so they can go and use that energy. I mean, I guess I don't know the process of how you get, you can use this one. I don't know how you apply to use a ley line now that I think about it. But I can't imagine that if you know about them, as long as you're doing something worthwhile, that you get turned down. So I don't know who would be against us.
Okay.
All right, well, let's get down to this basement, I guess.
Yeah. You guys start to go down the stairs.
I know there's certainly no groups of werewolves that I know about at the time that
No,
have banded together.
absolutely not.
No, nonsense. What kind of world do you think this is? It's interesting because, we are in episode 3,
Mm-hmm.
and really that right there is the first time that we stop to do any world building in a way that a lot of shows will either do in a session 0 that they published or in the first episode. And that was really important to me. I talked about this a little bit before, but I wanted to make sure that there wasn't a whole ton of world building right at the top because I wanted people to just start to get to know the characters and get to know the game and the world. And so, it wasn't really till episode 3 where we take a break and start talking about like, oh, this is some stuff in the world. This is also here in the world. And here's how these rules work. And so Rev was a nice foil, a nice voice for me to have there to give the audience and them some more structure on like, oh, this is what you can expect to find in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want to necessarily hit people with too much exposition right out the gate. Mike says it's a great way to do it. You guys got right in and got the story moving so fast compared to most actual plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys start to go down the stairs, and there's a strange smell coming from the basement.
What does it smell like?
I'll tell you as soon as I finish the description of the environment.
Sorry.
Coitus interruptus. You can see very dim light flickering off the walls, and something about the room feels hollow. You can't exactly place it, but it just feels empty. Like if you've ever been inside of a large cave in the dark, it just feels empty.
Something doesn't feel right, and I get my shotgun out.
What does it smell like?
Lavender and sandalwood.
Oh, that's pleasant.
Oh.
So it's a pleasant smell.
It is. It seems like burning candles.
Oh, all right. Well, that's a little more questionable.
This doesn't seem right, Tess. I agree. And I start to go down the stairs faster.
Oh God, yeah. Following close behind, hammer ready.
I guess I'll just go ahead and follow behind Jake.
You guys get to the bottom of the stairs, and you see that there is this fairly small room, maybe 10 by 10, at the bottom of the stairs, and that there is a crack running along what almost looks like a cobblestone floor, and the crack's maybe 3.5 feet long and a couple inches wide. It's wider in the center than it is on the edges, and some candles around it are flickering.
Is this crack like human-ish size? You said 3 foot long, but how deep? Like, is it? Can I tell whether or not it's deep, or I guess I don't understand the crack.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm gonna go look into the crack.
Sexy.
Hearing you.
Yes, Kim does work on the transcripts.
Yeah.
Spicy Tuesday.
Just so spicy. Yeah, there's a handful of early season 1 ones that I didn't do, and then there's maybe 5 or 6 season 2 ones that I didn't do, but the rest of them are all me. And hopefully all of season 3 will be finished by the time season 4 debuts. I'm saying that live now, so I have to commit to
it. Oh man. Because what I'm saying is I don't understand the crack. I can't believe that I didn't think to like set a notepad out and like take quotes during this re-listen through. Yeah, right. There we go.
Hearing you say that, Jake pulls his pants up. Like, I didn't realize they were drooping. Yeah, so you push your way kind of past everybody, and you can see that I am standing there really puzzled looking at the candles, and you walk up to the crack. What do you do once you get there?
I
Go on. Give me
this
detail.
Is getting worse and worse.
I'm going
If
to.
you say finger this crack, I'm gonna kill you.
Oh no. While he's deciding, I'm looking around to see if there's anybody down here. Well,
Likewise, yeah.
first, I'm even just going to put a hand on your shoulder and say, "Did you light these?"
No, I didn't even put them here.
Okay, so yeah, then I'm really going to kind of look around the space, see if there's somebody down here or signs of somebody being down here.
How are you looking around? Just in the sense of the lighting of the room.
Are all lights out besides these candles?
There are no lights down here, just the candles.
Just the candles.
So, like, are the edges of the room engulfed in shadow?
Yeah.
I'm tempted to say that we kind of like, where do the stairs come into the room? Like in the middle of a wall?
Yeah.
I'm tempted to say that we just kind of break off either side and just kind of literally hug the wall, because we'll be able to see the candle light and, just kind of loop around and plan to meet on the other side. And
yeah, Rev, can you try to hit these corners with your light?
Yeah. And I absentmindedly hand you the flashlight and bend down and start looking at the candles.
Okay. So then, I'm going to start making my way around and have that literally like flashlight on the flashlight's aiming where the shotgun is.
Roll investigate a mystery.
Okay. That would be a 9.
All right. You get a hold 1.
I guess I'm going to be asking what happened here, kind of in regards to leading to how do these candles exist?
As you're scanning around the room, you're panning the light across the walls, down to the floor, across the room.
It's a good question. Not one that gets asked a lot in any games of this that I've ever played. It's not a frequently asked question.
Mm-hmm.
Across the room to Jake. And you can see that when the flashlight goes over the ley line, that there's a little bit of reflection from the sides of it. It's almost like they've been glassed. And just thinking about what was said earlier about them being kind of a repository of energy, you assume that the stone, the rock, whatever is coming through the floor here, or what the floor is made of, was distorted by the energy pouring out of it, which you don't see. And you see the candles, and as you get around the room, you realize that they're not randomly placed. There's a pattern to them. And as you turn your flashlight back towards the stairs, you can see that there are footprints in the dust on the stairs and only one set going up. So it seems to you that someone may have done some kind of a ceremony here recently.
Okay, that ain't great. Somebody else was definitely down here. I'm looking at the pattern of the candles, too, to see if it sticks out as anything, I don't know, obvious, I guess, like a pentagram, something that's like maybe unholy or more like neutral or...
Yeah, it's not a pentagram. You can just tell that they are, there's 10 of them, and as you go around the circle, the spacing between them is not symmetrical, but it is a repeating pattern.
Okay. Jakey, I don't think there's anybody else down here.
A piece of lore that, like, that was the first thing I think that I actually had drawn and colored, and I knew what it looked like and what fit where, because it's a question that comes up all the time, is what is the pattern again, and what does each one represent? And that was one of the first things that I had written out, because I knew it was something that could be easily like forgotten or misstated,
lost forever.
Yeah.
The candles and the circles stymie these boys for a bit.
Yeah. I have posted that, but I'll have to post it again. I've got a little piece of like a Photoshop, or not even Photoshop, but
Did we lose Rev? I think we did. R.I.P. Rev. All right. It's the Kim show now. All right, guys, we're going to be right back, and I'm gonna try to get our Revington back with us. I love you all. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna find him, or else it'll just be the Kim show. Okay, we'll be back in a second. He's back.
Well, that was strange. My wired internet is not working, but my wireless is.
Chat was great. Mike says he's focusing on the ley line. Let him work.
So what's the last thing everyone heard in the actual episode here? I don't know how long it played after I was disconnected.
I don't know. I think we only lost like a minute. Well, I don't know because I don't know how long you were going. So let's just back up a fair amount. It's okay if
what's the back to the crack?
Nope.
Last thing we heard was I'm not sure there was backwards chanting. Okay, let's see.
Sucked up all of the energy. They left. I don't even know the right word. Is this dry?
Yeah, no, it's
Wanted to do and left, and then I'm gonna come.
Oh, we were talking about the candles
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
circles.
Yeah.
Jakey, I don't think there's anybody else down here. I think they did what they wanted to do and left, and then I'm gonna come over, back towards the middle with you. What do you think? This looks. I mean, is this? I don't even know the right word. Is this dry?
yeah, no, it's gone. The energy's gone.
Okay, so somebody came down. They sucked up all of the energy. They left, and then this soul bat starts doing crazy things in a very powerful way. Unless those things were happening in tandem, maybe.
Maybe that thing was to keep anyone who showed up from getting down to the person that was sucking up the energy.
Yeah.
Maybe that
Or-
was a distraction.
Or maybe the ley line was used to keep the soul bat in check.
Well, I don't think it was in check.
I mean, maybe what you said first. They drained it
Oh.
and then the soul bat
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
got loose. I mean, I
Oh.
guess we don't know unless we go try and find whoever this person was that was down here.
Well, we have vaguely some tracks here. We can try to follow something back out.
Yeah, if you think you can follow the tracks, I'm with you.
We'll try.
Yeah, I don't know any one person that could channel this energy into something. It takes multiple people to do it.
Well, I think only one set left, so sacrifice?
Do you point out the footsteps
Yeah.
on the? Yeah, and it's you all get a chance to kind of look, and you can very clearly see the 4 sets of footprints that belong to the 4 people down here in the room, and there's only one other set down and then up.
Oh, there is just one. Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. Look, there's only one total. Like,
We're dealing with somebody who's impossibly powerful. Like,
Or impossibly knowledgeable. I've not seen this pattern of these candles before, and I pull out a little notebook and I scribble out the pattern and pick up one of the candles and pocket it.
okay, I was just about to ask what's going to happen if I could put them out. Like, if you thought it would be okay for me to put them out, do you think these are sustaining anything now, or?
No, I mean everything's gone.
I like in that moment that I canonically put a lit candle in my pocket.
It's weird that they would just, you know what? I guess it's not that weird. I was going to say it's weird that they would just leave their candles here. But I guess if you're like, I possess all arcane power, then $8 worth of candles probably doesn't matter that much to you.
Yeah, that's probably true.
okay, this has just turned into a time crunch, boys. And I'm going to turn and start heading up, see if I can even remotely try to follow some tracks.
We'll follow him, I guess.
All right. So how are you going to try to track these?
I'm literally going to, follow the path in the dust with the flashlight, that we could clearly see. And then once we get up there, do my best to see which direction, like if any of that dust that was disturbed going up and down continues in a direction.
Okay. Roll investigate a mystery.
I don't think I keep very good track of that with a 4. Oof.
Good.
Yeah.
So you get to the top of the stairs and you try to follow the tracks to see if there is any of the dust making footprints that they picked up on their way up the stairs. You go over to the wall and you kick on some of the additional lights to try to get a better view. And you can actually see now that the theater is really well lit up, there's a number of windows on the dome above the audience, and you can see that some of it is uncovered and this light is actually shining out of the dome. But you're not able to see anything.
Ah, shit, I think I lost it. I don't know what to do at this point, boys, besides sweep the theater again, but I'm assuming if their whole goal was to get down there and inhale a bunch of magic energy that they've probably gotten out of here by now.
I want to look around for exit points, like whatever the closest exit point is to this doorway. See if there's a door outside that has been opened recently.
The closest one to where you are right now is the one that you guys came in, kind of that hidden door.
Does anything seem different about it? I mean, this is kind of vague, but I want to see if it is ajar, like for starters, or if it seems like something's been knocked over that wasn't knocked over when we came in.
Sure,
And like I want to peek out into the alley and see if anything's out of place out there.
And you're trying to see if it's any different from when the two of you, Jake and Tass, ran out of the building in the dark. I think that was the last time you used this door, was when you both sprinted away from the monster when it was backstage.
So I don't know what I would be able to pick up different, except there was some light in the alley, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I might be able to notice something actually out the door being different. So I'm going to open the door and poke my head out in the alley and just see if anything seems different from the last time we were out here before we came back in.
Okay. Yeah, you don't really see much difference. All of the random bric-a-brac and stuff that was in this alleyway. The door was closed. You remember Tass closing it when you guys came out. Now that the lights are back on inside the theater, you see the pieces of the stage light that you remember when you guys first came in was on the ground and got stepped on. But no, you don't really see anything that sticks out as different or out of place compared to what you remember.
Okay. Then back inside, I would want to look for what I think maybe the next closest exit point would be, if there's a window somewhere. Or did I notice the dome? Would I notice the window?
Yeah, when he
dome?
looked up and saw the light was coming out of it, you could see the dome there, yeah.
I don't suppose there's anything leading up to it, is there?
There is. If you get up into the grid and then climb up some ladders, some scaffolding, you can see that there is a walkway around the base of this.
Might as well.
That could be an exit point, yeah.
Let's go see what we can see.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to lead this because I love going up into grids and heights and things like that.
He does.
Where do you guys want to go up into the grid at?
I'm going to go look for the sound booth / light booth to see if I can find the entrance to the grid from that area.
So you remember when you were up in the grid that the sound booth and the light booth was at the back of the house. So you probably can deduce that if maybe you go out into the lobby and go up the stairs inside of the lobby, that one of those sets of stairs might eventually lead up to the booth.
Gotcha. I'm gonna head that way.
Okay. Are you guys gonna follow him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So you guys go through the lobby. You go up which set of stairs, left or right?
Ooh, left.
Okay. So you go up the stairs. It takes you to the balcony. And then in the back corner of the balcony, there's another set of stairs that kind of go in a half circle and take you into the back of the booth.
Okay. I'm gonna go up into the booth and see if I can't find that entrance to the grid.
All right. It's unlocked. Inside the room, there's a ladder in the corner that you can see goes up to a trap door in the ceiling of the light and sound booth.
Oh, nice. Hey, check it out, guys.
And from up here, you can see the whole stage. You can see the whole grid from the windows at the front of the booth.
Can I reach that trapdoor?
Yeah, if you climb the ladder.
Oh.
Like the ladder is attached. It's a permanent fixture.
Okay, I'm going to do that.
Okay.
I'm going to climb up, at least up to where I can get a hand on it, and just kind of look back down at them and wait for a thumbs up and give a shrug, and then open it and continue up.
I'll follow him.
Okay. Is anybody doing anything else inside the booth? Or are you all just following up the ladder?
Is this maybe a fresh spot that I could kind of check around to see if there's been any recent activity?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I just kind of want to look for anything knocked ajar, footprints, signs that, anything's been pushed aside or, movement.
Okay. Investigate a mystery.
Yeah, okay. Oh, baby. How about an 11?
All right. So you get a hold 2.
What's being concealed here?
You look around the room and you see some old paper plates. There's an empty soda can. You can see that the chair has been scooted out from the dust. Again, nobody's been up here in quite a while. You think that it might have been the designer who is scoping out the space. But you can see that the paper plate, it's got some food crumbs on it. But then there's also a number of crumbs a couple feet to the side, just on the table. And it seems odd to you that someone would bring a plate up into this space to eat and eat over it and then just suddenly stop eating over it and leave the debris of their food on the table, especially someone who's used to a space like this that would take care of it and want to make sure that it stays pristine for when they're taking apart any electronics or any lights or any sound equipment or anything like that.
Okay. So then I kind of want to take that information in mind and mix any time that I've spent in a theater with all of this much more fresh, recent kind of monster training in mind and try to piece together what happened here.
So as you look around the room and you think about when you've been in the back of rooms like this where designers are sitting or technicians are programming or running a show, You know, for the most part, they come to the chair and they're in the chair. The chair is usually the spot where they can see the stage best. And you see a chair for the stage manager, you see a chair for the light board, and you see a chair for the sound board. So you've got those 3 chairs that you're used to seeing up here. But you see dead center in the window that there are some footprints, like someone came and stood at the center of the window and was looking out of the window. You feel like someone else was up here, that someone came up these stairs at some point, found what was left of the food, ate it, and watched the stage for some reason.
Okay, that's creepifying. I'm going to just go ahead and haul up the ladder then after them.
All right. So you guys are climbing up the ladder. It's about 20 feet before you get to the lip around the glass dome. So when you get to the top of the ladder, you can get out onto the lip. It's pretty thin. You know that this really is only here to either hang lights off of or to attach something to so that you could clean these windows.
So does it look so thin that I don't think I could navigate it on foot?
You could, but it would be tricky.
And there's no safety if I fall into the seats?
Yeah, picture like a clothes rack inside of a closet, like a really heavy-duty one. It is braces coming out from the edge of the bottom of the dome, and then are a series of pipes that make the big circular ring around the bottom.
Okay.
So it's wide enough that you could walk on it. You would essentially have your hands against the glass, and then the other side of you would be to infinity.
Good. So from where I am just at the top of the ladder, do any of the windows seem to be open or broken or anything?
Roll investigate a mystery. What are you looking for exactly?
I am just like, because I sort of pop out a hatch, right? Like,
No,
I opened.
the hatch in the light and then climbed up about 20 feet,
Okay.
and now you're at the bottom of this ring.
Okay. I am just looking around. I know that there are windows up here or glass up here. I just want to scan around like every bit that I can see above my head and see if any of it looks broken or open from where I am.
All right.
Before I bother to go try to maybe navigate this.
Yeah. Roll investigate a mystery.
10.
You get a hold 2.
What happened here? Like, did anybody pass through this area, or does it seem like this has been disturbed or manipulated?
So as you look around, you do see that one of the windows, the hinges are open a little bit, and there's about 2 or 3 inches showing at the bottom. And you can see that these, if you push on the bottom, would swing out and lead to the roof.
All right. So I think I know that something went out there. That's what this seems like. I think I want to go with what sort of creature is it? Just like based on maybe the size of the window and what it would take to maneuver to it, would I assume this was a person? Do I think that some sort of monster could have even made it? Like, could a quadruped have even navigated this and things like that?
You think that anything with enough upper body strength to hold its own weight to pull it up onto this pipe and the thumbs to do so could have done it. It's not really, there's a huge range of things in your head that could have opened this window. Anything with the ability to, push open a hinged door could do it.
Including a trained chimpanzee.
Yeah, especially. TJ spoiled the final arc.
Oh, no.
So sorry, guys.
The orangutan did it.
It's King Louis, baby.
Okay, so I want to look back down the ladder and explain down the ladder to them. There is a window up here, and it's open, and it seems like it leads to the roof. I would guess somebody either came in or went out through it. It's kind of a bitch to get to, but I can try. Or I don't know if there's a better way to get to the roof in this place. Do you guys know anything else about theaters? Would there be easier roof access?
We can certainly look. I definitely think somebody went that way. I honestly think whoever it was literally standing up in that booth watching us until she saw us coming, because, yeah, there's definitely somebody up there just standing and watching.
So should I go for it? Do you want me to try and go out this window?
Well, anything's better than hanging on this ladder.
Okay. I'm going to try and navigate my way to and through the window.
All right. Roll act under pressure. This is a very difficult pull up. It's a difficult walk across just on your boots, and then to push it open and climb out the window.
God, if this goes wrong, it goes so very wrong.
Not inaccurate.
Oh,
What did you
no.
get?
I got a 4.
Oh,
We should probably
no.
start helping people out.
Yeah, I could have used a boost.
Yeah.
You wrap your leg around the pipe, but the metal on metal contact of your armor and the pipe don't give you the traction you need, and as you pull yourself up, your legs suddenly slip from the pipe. Tass and TJ, you see Jake's eyes widen as the unexpected weight of his lower body wrenches free his grip, and he plummets towards the ground below.
That's one of my favorite cliffhangers.
Oh, yeah?
That you've done. Yeah, it was like that cliffhanger was probably like the first one that I really like sticks out in my head as like one of like the first significant ones.
Yeah.
And it spawned a beautiful piece of fan art that I think I've
Yes.
retweeted and shared, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
just gorgeous. Good episode. A lot of sort of just like talking and building
Yeah.
the world. Let's see. Rev, how much of the descriptions of the location are based on reality, and how much did you make up for this theater? I feel like I remember it was a real place.
Yeah, so this theater is a real place. This is the first college that I taught at. This is the college at St. Mary of the Woods, the Mother Theodore Guerin Theater, I believe it's called. The only difference between this and the actual theater is that the light booth that I described, they don't have that there. They have a balcony. And I took the light booth description from my first undergrad over at the Dreiser Theater. But yeah, the impossibly high dome above with the metal ring that someone has to climb up there and clean, and the way the backstage and everything was laid out.
Yeah. How do I ask this without being too spoilery? Did you
Yeah.
already know who was performing whatever ritual in the basement of the Halifax?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we meet them this arc,
Yes.
but we don't really.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you already like I didn't know if this was just like a blank space of like this is a person or someone did this, but you knew who and you knew why.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that I did know.
Mike asks, important question: what kind of food was on the plate?
A sandwich and chips.
Damn, I wanted it to be Oreos so badly.
I know, but I think it just shows that man, they'll just eat whatever they can find.
You are establishing like a pattern of behavior for this person where they just
Yeah.
like if they see unattended food, they're just gonna go
it's
for
theirs.
it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Let's see. Chaotic says, I realized that Tass calls the group the Boys. Is there any other group names for y'all? We've steered away from the boys more recently just to try to be a little more gender inclusive.
Yeah. But no, not really. Really just like the crew, the team.
Our
like,
heroes is usually how it's referred to.
we don't have a good group nickname outside of the show.
Taz writes RPGG.
Oh, no. RPGG. Oh boy. Yeah, so
Do you have
that's
to
a
tell
story.
that story now?
I will tell the uncensored or the censored version of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so before we started, the first name for the podcast we had was RPGG. And so it was, RPG, and it was also RP and GG, like good game. And so we registered that at a bunch of different places, and Tass went to get it on Facebook and couldn't get it. RPGG already existed on Facebook. And it's a clothing line. A group of people, like, they hadn't used the page in forever. But the language of what RPGG is a little salty. But it's people who like to actively pursue
So RPGG,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
R is real, the P
Yeah.
is another word for
Yeah.
cat,
Uh-huh.
and then
Yep.
go-getters.
Go-getters, yep. Real something go-getters. Yeah, so you can find them on Facebook. And they were a clothing line. And so we looked up, we spent forever coming up with a new name. And we got to a point where Tass started to pitch just a bunch of punny names. And it was in part just to make Jake go, ugh. But he said, oh, at some point during that, the name Critshow came up, and it may have even been Jake, like Jake giving into it. And we kind of turned away from the conversation. It was like, oh, Critshow, it's like a shit show. And we came back, and I was like, that's actually not bad. Like that kind of works. Like, welcome to the Crit Show, and it's like welcome to the shit show, except it's bad because you never know how the dice are going to go. And so we ended up settling on that. And the only thing that we found, anytime we came up with a name that we liked, and because I'm sure there were other names that we had picked that were already taken, I instantly got online and did a ton of searching to see like the Twitter handle, the Instagram, the Facebook, etc. And we only found one other Crit Show, and it was Crit and Show were 2 words. And it was a YouTube channel that hadn't published in a couple of years. So I was like, I think this is fair game. And then we made it into a company with our lawyer, so I'm sure we're fine now.
I think we're good.
Yeah. Boy, that didn't take long at all.
No, it didn't. That just flew by.
It did. Unusually short stream, unless we can think of something else we want to do. We got folks here. If anybody has any other questions,
yes,
or stories they want to hear about, yeah.
Just C-Max says do another one. What happened to the cat the guys had?
What happened? We'll never know. Who knows?
Never know.
Who knows?
None of the main characters can have pets because we can't put them in danger.
Yeah.
RPGG came to get it.
Came to get it. Oh man.
Oh no. I can't believe you've never told the RPGG story.
Boy, I know we've told that story, but I don't know in what context and leaving out what words. It is, Sarah. It is the same one.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna see the car again. Penguins asks, what happened to the critical stories that people would write in and y'all used to share way back when?
We got a few and we shared them, and I can't remember if that was in our first year. At one point we did a like in memoriam for ideas that we had that kind of petered out. And I can't remember if that was one of the things I listed in it. But we just stopped getting the stories. And so we kind of, you can tell in the first, 12 episodes that we're kind of finding the intro. And then it finally, kind of settles into what it has become. But, the shopping critical stories, there were a couple things that I remember we did a short in memoriam for after our first year.
R.I.P. that Snapchat.
Yeah.
Here's
Snapchat.
The Snapchat, remember one? Eye on the Ball asks, so Rev, do you get to a point in the show where you are like, time for the cliffhanger?
So usually we record, and if a moment happens, I'll check the time on the recording and be like, oh, is this... Oh no, this is too short. This is too soon. Man, I wish this was the end of the episode, but it's not. So we got to keep going. And so usually it is obviously I can't make anything happen. So it's a matter of listening and waiting for the right moment to happen. And then, that's where we will end it for that session.
Questions about Margaret's cat. What is Margaret's cat's name?
I don't know. Jesse says Zhao.
Is Critshow Margaret's cat named the same as real life Margaret's? Sure, why not?
Yeah. 100%.
I see no reason why it wouldn't be. I love how many questions are about cats. Me too. More cats in the Critshow.
Yeah.
All right, Rev. What should we do?
Gosh, I don't know. We don't have an art to do a second one, so I would hate to post, episode 4 on YouTube without the proper art for it.
It's true.
So do we want to play something? Do we want to yeah. What do we want to do? I didn't even think about this.
I didn't account for this.
I didn't account for this only taking an hour and 20 minutes with me disconnecting.
With you leaving us.
Well, let's see here.
Rest of stream, Twitch runs Kim and Rev through a Monster of the Week game. That would be chaos. Just chaos.
I will remind you all here and now, if you are caught up or if you're in the process of catching up, you've still got like a month and a half. Send us your questions for season 3 for the Q&A.
Please do that. You can email them to us at thecastthecritshowpodcast.com, or you can use the Contact Us form on our website. And you can get those questions into us by Friday, July 2nd, and we'll be answering them on the Wednesday, July 28th episode. So you've still got some time to catch up to season 3 and submit your questions. Tass says, I'm playing Dead by Daylight while I break from editing. You should probably join me.
Oh, you could do that. We'll be watching your screen.
Oh no, I'm gonna be so bad. I'm not good at that game.
Yeah, I mean, I would totally. I'm just down to hang out with everybody for a little while longer. We could play some Dead by Daylight. We could. What do we have? Who are we?
What do we do? While Rev's looking that up, let's have you, Kim, ever GM'd for Rev?
Almost for the month of July, but
yeah, I didn't really
yeah.
GM. I'm more like I facilitated a game that Rev played.
Yeah,
I haven't GM'd for Rev. I would say I would be too intimidated, but I mean, I don't know, probably not anymore. But
nah.
I was for a while a little scared.
I'm some dude on the internet.
Yeah, Rev's just some guy, Yeah. Ion asks, how does Margaret feel about your Margaret voice?
I don't know. That would be a question for Tass. I have met Margaret, but the conversation was never about the show. Mm-hmm. I know that she does listen, so I assume she loves it. Good.
Who did you base your Margaret voice on?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. Just some lady.
It was just like in my head, I was like, okay, so this is, I was thinking of like, there's a person who works at the theater that I worked at for like 17 years. And she's the person who answers the phones and is really the one in charge, despite all the people who have titles that say they're in charge. I think a lot of theaters are that way. Mm-hmm. And so to an extent, it was like a super exaggerated version of her. Her name is Tony. So it's not even close to Tony's voice, but it was a super exaggerated version of that.
Let's see. Chaotic asks a bit off topic, but I'm curious, have you ever heard of the TTRPG Brindlewood Bay?
I have not.
I have not. I'm looking up
Brindlewood
right now.
Bay.
Brindlewood Bay is a role-playing game about a group of elderly women, members of the local Murder Mavens Mystery Book Club, who frequently find themselves investigating and solving real-life murder mysteries. Oh, it's like Murder, She Wrote.
But mixed with Golden Girls.
Yes.
I'm down.
That would be so fucking fun.
I'm down.
Think Golden Girls meets Call of Cthulhu.
We talked about this and it never came to fruition, but we talked about myself, TJ, Tass, and Jake talked about cosplaying the Golden Girls.
Which one would you be?
I think they decided that I feel like they decided that I would be Blanche.
Okay, yeah.
That Jake would be B. Arthur. I would be Blanche. I think that Tass. Boy, I can't remember if Tass was Estelle or Rose. Anyway, but yeah, we talked about it.
TJ was Rose.
That's right. And then Tass was the
because
grandmother.
TJ is Rose.
Yeah, fair.
I'm like, Tass wouldn't be Rose.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair.
A
That
bit
tracks.
off topic, but I'm curious. No, Kim already.
I already
saw
got that
another
one. If I were to break into your home and steal whatever is under your bed, what am I taking home?
Oh, I think extra pillows.
My bed frame is like a storage bed, so it's got four big drawers on the bed frame. So if you were to steal what was under my bed, you would find nothing. But if you actually literally stole what was underneath my mattress, it would be, oh my gosh, so much stuff. Like
The bulk of your clothing.
all of my clothes and like spare suitcases, yoga mats, extra sheets. Like you would leave me rather destitute.
Yeah, I have a serious problem finding a proper pillow that doesn't give me really back neck spasms.
Mm-hmm.
And so I end up buying a lot of pillows whenever like I finally find one and then it eventually has to be replaced. I have a hard time finding a new one. But like it feels like I'm not going to return a pillow. That feels weird. So I keep extra pillows that I've like slept on once and like, no, this doesn't work. And they end up getting like stuffed under the bed or something.
You are like the Princess and the Pea.
I am. My neck is, yeah.
Just a little dainty thing.
When it gets bad, and I remember it used to happen on stream every now and then, but like I'll be sitting here talking and all of a sudden my head will jerk to the side as one of the muscles just seizes up. I need to go to massage more frequently.
Oh.
They want to hear your Margaret voice.
I now that you have put me on the spot, I cannot ever remember ever hearing Margaret. Cannot remember.
You'll have to figure it out for Gen Con.
What she sound? Oh, you want me to do Margaret in front of Margaret?
I mean, you don't. No. It usually all of the and I guess maybe we didn't do this last year, but previous years. So what we do for Gen Con is everybody writes a mystery, and then you teach that mystery to everyone else, so that in the room, everyone is running the same mystery at the same time, so that like if you come multiple times, you don't get spoiled for a different mystery.
Gotcha.
And so, a couple of people, myself and Tass, I think, wrote 2 one year. It just depends on how many slots we have. But the hook is always that, okay, so because it's like, how do you get a group together at a con? So it's like, what we're going to do is we're going to assume that you work for the IPT, and the IPT is a group based here out of Indianapolis, da-da-da-da-da. So one day, Margaret calls you into her office, and that's usually how all of the mysteries start. And so you'll hear Tass and Jake and TJ doing their Margaret voices around the room.
Now I want to hear everyone else's Margarets.
Yeah. Tass is probably more accurate to the real Margaret.
to the actual woman.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Mattress is one of my faves. You guys have any experience with that musical? Yeah, it's a classic. I've never done it though.
I have been in it.
Who did you play?
I was the Mute King.
Were you?
It was super fun.
Oh
Man, so much fun.
Tass was
Having
the
to pantomime
prince?
all my lines. We were not in the same production.
Oh, Tass, you would be a very good Prince Dauntless. And you tell me you don't sing? Get the hell out.
Yeah, Jeff O'Brien, who's in chat, when I was the king, was Prince Dauntless.
Tass is all of our Prince. It's true. I have never done that musical. I would love, I'd love to be Princess Winifred. But I might be more of a Lady Larkin. But, but yeah, that musical is a classic. All right, dear, what are we doing?
That was the show where I accidentally gave myself a concussion.
Oh yeah.
They had the set. The back of it was just like a runway, and then it had 2 ramps down.
Mm-hmm.
And like in that musical, the king is everyone's afraid of the queen. And so at one point they're like trying to get this thing done, and the queen starts coming in. The king runs in to warn them. And I run in and I make this 90-degree turn to run down the ramp. And I noticed that the person who was playing the wandering minstrel.
Yeah.
He throws glitter and pauses time and restarts time. And he had thrown glitter right at the start of the ramp. And so I mentally like compensate him, like, oh, this is going to be slippery. So I need to like be prepared for that to happen. It was not. It was the exact opposite. I hit it and my feet stopped dead and I just fell off the side and just on my head. And the director got up. Like I hit and I got up and I did my line and then I fell down. And she was like, I saw your head like go flip whip. I assumed that you were dying because I saw your head compress. So yeah.
No, just your good clown work.
Yeah, just my honking head. Has anybody else got any questions? Random questions.
Anything.
Some random AMA.
Yep.
Maybe it's just story time.
It might just be.
Trying to think of something else interesting I could share with everybody. We are getting ready to have a new sponsor, and part of that is going to be a little contest that I want to do, so people could win some credit with Hero Forge. And my thought is that what we'll do is we'll just say, hey, you can get onto Hero Forge for free, and design characters. I want you to send us a picture, design your favorite character from anything we've done, and send it to us, and then we will draw a winner at random to get some credit for Hero Forge. Not that that's who our new sponsor is going to be.
What? Very excited. All right, we've got some good questions. What kind of shoe do you wear?
What kind of shoe do I wear?
Yeah.
I usually get like what is the not, they're not Airwalks anymore, but like what's a shoe like that?
I was gonna say look at your feet, but I know that you are a shoeless household.
Yeah.
Crocs? Jeremy asks.
No, I do not have Crocs. I usually get like New Balances, but not like the tennis shoe ones, but more like the casual dress ones. I'm not quite old enough yet to wear like white New Balances.
White New Balances. Hey, white sneakers are can be very fashionable.
Are they? I don't shoot like I have almost no sense of fashion to begin with. Shoes are where like I can't even like are these shoes too bright? Like I am the most self-conscious the way that I dress about my shoes. Like, are these shoes too bright? Are they too dark? Do I need to switch shoes? But I only have like 3 pairs of shoes, so I don't know what I think I'm going to change into.
I wear a lot. I wear a lot of shoes, but I most frequently I have like an old pair of Doc Marten 1460s that I wear a bunch, or 2 different pairs of Birkenstock sandals. Or I just recently got some very cute bright white sneakers by Thousandfell, which I really like because they're 100% recyclable and made out of recyclable materials. And then I have a pair of sort of like gray leather Vans-esque slip-ons that were by Everlane. They're street shoe, which I don't think they sell anymore, but like I got one pair of them, loved them, and then saw that they were discontinuing that brand of shoes, and then I bought another one because I liked it so much. But that shoe is almost on its way out.
Yeah, I have to. I have a foot like a duck's flipper. Like I have the flattest foot, so I have to get wide shoes and whatever kind of shoe I get. So there's a lot of shoes that have like arch support that I can't wear.
I have extremely high arches. I have really good ballerina feet.
Oh man, I've got like Fred Flintstone feet, just flat on the ground.
Jeremy asks, who's your favorite character in Avatar if you watch it?
I have not watched it.
Rev, you got to get on it.
I know I've tried a couple times.
You got to get, okay, yes, you do have to get through like the first few episodes where it's like, but like once you're in it, it's really good.
That's what I understand. Yeah, but it's getting through those first couple episodes. I've had someone tell me that I should start with Korra first, maybe.
Maybe. I haven't seen Korra. My favorite character is Toph, obviously. Let's see. Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Fish food.
I really like Cherry Garcia.
Mm.
Favorite Futurama episode?
Ooh, I mean, it almost has to be the one with his dog.
Favorite?
It's such a good episode because it like shows you how powerful an animated show can be. The one or the musical episode with the robot devil.
That's the one that I was
gonna
say is the musical episode with the robot devil.
Any of the musical episodes are so good.
That one is really good.
Yeah.
Those were the two that occurred to me as well, with the Fry and his dog in the musical episode with Robot Devil. Yeah. Let's see. What's the wildest piece of clothing you own?
Oh gosh, I don't know. What is considered wild clothing? I
don't know, because I don't know if you mean like costumes, because because like my Bjork swan dress, I would say, is fairly wild, but I also made it to be wild. Do you mean like something that like I purchased? I don't know, I have a copy of regular everyday wear. Okay.
I don't think I do have anything. Like I'm the most basic. You could drop me, with the exception of like whatever the brand is, you could drop me anywhere from like the 1960s to now, and like I kind of fit in because it's just jeans and t-shirts. I don't have anything interesting.
I don't know. Like, I don't think I own particularly wild pieces of clothing, but I do like have a lot of interesting pieces of clothing. I don't know. Like, capital W wild might be like I've like multiple pairs of leather pants, but probably the one that comes to mind is I have just like this. I posted it on the Discord on my birthday. I have like this like giant pink tulle dress that is like an exact copy of a couture Molly Goddard dress that Villanelle wore in Killing Eve, which is one of my favorites. It's so big and ridiculous. Does having low arch feet help you swim faster, Rev?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who has the biggest feet in the cast? We all know it isn't Kim.
I don't know how big Jake's feet are. I know that when I lent him a pair of boots, he was surprised at the size of them. So I don't know if he had a size shoe. I feel like I've accidentally put his shoes on before.
What size shoe are you wearing?
Now probably an 11.
Okay. Let's see. How was the beach with Jake? It was great. We got some tacos and then walked around Venice, and then at one point it was a really nice day, and I was saying, oh man, I'm sad. We were both lamenting that we didn't bring swimsuits with us. And Jake was like, I really want to run into the ocean, but I don't want to have to sit on a plane. And I was like, well, I don't have to do that. I can just run into the ocean. And so I was like, I kind of want to. And he's like, you should. And I was like, okay. And I took off my sandals and handed him my purse. And I was like, all right, hold on to these for me. And he's like, are you just doing this because I told you to do it? I'm like, no, I want to. And I'm like, it's like, you don't have to do this. You don't have to prove anything to me. I'm like, no. You don't.
You don't have to prove anything to me.
Favorite holiday?
Boy, I kind of talked about this the other day that I don't have any holidays off the top of my head that really land right now, just because all of the kind of the ceremony or the family tradition and stuff around them is dead. I guess probably Halloween.
I like Halloween.
But it's been a long time since I've done anything on Halloween also, just because of, the pandemic and everything.
I like Halloween because my my burlesque troupes used to always do shows on Halloween, and those were always really fun.
Yeah.
But obviously we didn't do one this year. Rev, do you own any kilts?
I don't. That would be more Tass's. Although there are, I think there are Irish kilts, but my lineage is mostly Irish, but Tass is the Scotsman.
Now I want to see you both in kilts. My college.
I should. I've got the calves for them.
You do. You have those Victorian calves.
Victorian calves.
I did a production of Brigadoon in college. It was my freshman year, so I was in the chorus, and that was the very first musical I had ever done where not just the women had rehearsal skirts, but also the men, because
yeah, 100% fair.
Absolutely. Kim, best themed burlesque show you've been in would have to be, we did a Nightmare Before Christmas esque show where
you were the dog.
I was Zero the dog.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, all of my pictures from that are like stupid cute. So that one was probably my favorite. That was also the last sort of big, and the burlesque shows that I do are like full musicals, like 2 acts and like a script and songs and things like that. And so that was like the last big sort of production that I did with that company before quarantine. So it stands out in my mind. Everyone should do Brigadoon once every 100 years. God, I'm not a fan of that show.
I don't know that show.
No?
Mm-mm.
You don't.
I've heard it.
Don't need to.
I've heard of it so many times.
My apologies to any big fans of Lerner and Lowe, but that's not a good show. Although I'm not a huge fan of that. Well, okay, I have two Brigadoon stories from when I did it in college. The first one was there's a lot of it is sort of centered around this kind of this love triangle, and there's this wedding and the young lovers, and then there's this sort of broody outsider that tries to break up the wedding. It all sounds a little Oklahoma-esque with this sort of Judd Fry is Harry Beaton. But anyway, so the Act 1 finale is this wedding, and then Harry comes in and tries to break up the wedding, tries to kiss the bride, and then there's a big sword fight. And the entire cast is on stage, and it's a big sword fight, and at one point Harry gets disarmed and the sword kind of goes skittering towards the crowd, and normally it stops before it ever makes it to anyone. But I have one vivid memory of us doing the show, and I was playing a child, because of course I was 18 and in college, and I looked 11, and so I was playing a child of Brigadoon, and I was right at the front of this mass of people, and the sword came flying towards me. Harry got disarmed with like more speed, and just the sword was careening towards my small body, and one of the other actors just like bear hug lifted me up, like just like over his head, so that like the sword just like went underneath my feet. And then the director was like, that was a really good moment, we should keep it.
So make sure to throw that in her direction every night.
Yeah, can you just chuck it at Kim every night? And then I also, in a less fun story, because we did the original Agnes de Mille choreography, and I like rolled my ankle, and like that ankle is now like forever not quite as strong as my other ones. Ooh. Due to that show, because it was college and we didn't have understudies, and that was like one of our first or second performances, and I still had to perform for like another 2 or 3 weeks. And so I just like iced it and wrapped it, and then I would like take all of that off, do the ballet, and then like limp off stage and keep icing it and wrapping it. So I have permanent scars from Brigadoon. Not a fan of that show.
Yikes.
Let's see. What TTRPG that you have played that wouldn't make it into the official stream/podcast? Not bad ones, just ones that don't fit.
I'm really kind of hard pressed to think of anything. Like, I think we could stream anything.
I think you could stream anything. If it's a question of what wouldn't, I think the question of what like wouldn't fit in coin is like valid. I don't.
Yeah.
Like, I would say maybe like Monster Hearts.
Right.
Even though I love that game, and that would be fun to stream.
Yeah, we were supposed to play that game a couple of different times, but yeah, it would be a weird sell on that.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, now you're in these, teen monster bodies. hit on
each other.
People.
Do it.
Masks is the same way. Like, Masks is amazing.
Yeah.
I'd love playing it. This is the first time I've ever played it. It wouldn't really fit on coin. It wouldn't fit in the main show, but that doesn't mean that it couldn't be a podcast or a stream at some point.
I don't know about any other ones. Phoebe says thirsty sword lesbians.
Boy, you say that.
But I sure would love to play it.
Well, and the creator was like, hey, at some point I will come and run thirsty sword lesbians, and you think you have folks now who are thinking about writing some spicy fan art. Wait until you all play yourselves in thirsty sword lesbians.
Yes.
I was like, oh, fair.
Yes. That's all I want. Chat's here for it.
Yeah.
Pasión de los Pasiones is you improvising a telenovela.
Oh yeah,
which sounds great. Alice is Missing would make a terrible podcast. Alice, well, because it's all silent and based on
that's
text
a journal
message.
one, right?
No, it's based on text message. I would love to play it, but that would be. I've seen one stream where they've streamed Alice is Missing, and it's really cool. And you just sort of like, instead of text messaging, it's like a bunch of like Facebook Messenger chats, and so you have like all kind of like 5 individual chats sort of like running simultaneously on the screen, so you can like check like who's talking to who and stuff like that.
Interesting.
So like you could do it. It would be interesting. You could stream that game. Which would be cool. I really want to play that game. I have it. I backed it on Kickstarter.
Yeah, I have it. It's on the shelf of games upstairs.
Yeah. What are the odds that the team returns to space?
Not low. It's possible.
It's there.
It's there. It's everywhere. It takes up so much room.
It does.
I have a question for all of you. I'm curious, what game haven't we played yet that you would like to see played? Like, I did the D&D one shot because a lot of people kept talking about how they'd like to see us play D&D, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'd be interested to hear what RPG we have not played that folks would like to see us play.
Talking about TTRPGs, Amanda, not video games.
See Threadbare and Coin.
Threadbare.
Yeah, or video games. I mean, we're always looking for suggestions on video
That's true.
games.
More games.
Because everybody has such different tastes of video games that depending on what game you pitch kind of dictates who would be the ones playing it.
Secrets of Cats, the Carly Rae Jepsen RPG, One Pager, Potatoes and Molasses. The Between, it's a spooky and very spicy Victorian horror. That's the one that I would love to see. The one that's kind of like Penny Dreadful-esque that Mike was telling us about. Under Hollow Hill. I feel like any of the lasers and feelings hacks would be good. I would murder multiple people if it got me running a game of demigods for you guys.
It's been a long time since we played that.
Yeah.
Boy, I wonder. I mean, we could tell them. We've got people here. They're hanging out, chatting with us.
They are.
When we're just kind of just chatting.
Mm-hmm.
I do like to tell people stuff.
You do.
We could tell people
the games.
What the games, in July
in
are
July
going to be.
Do you want to do that?
I could.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So so we're doing the D&D one shot. That's 4 episodes. That will go until the 23rd. 23rd. And then on the 30th, for the next 4 Wednesdays, Kim is running a 1 page, Tass is running 1, Megan is running 1, and Jake is running 1. We are doing a game that Tass made called Dinosaurs and Lasers as our first one. I might get these out of order.
I think you've got them. Next one is mine.
Yeah, the second one is Kim's, which is the Guy Economy. And then the third one is Jake's, which is postcards from from the expedition. And then the fourth one that we just recorded, I have not edited yet, but it's very good, is Megan running Potatoes and Molasses.
So you will get your wish.
Yeah. 4 very different games, all of them very different when it comes to the flavor and the tone. And each one person sits out. So it's 3 people playing and 1 person running it. With the exception of me, I'm in all of them because I'm editing them, and it's difficult to edit something that you didn't play in. We discovered.
PG's got them all. Tass, Dinos and Lasers, Kim the Guy Economy, Jake Postcards and the Expedition, Making Potatoes and Molasses. They were all super fun. They were all super fun. I didn't get to play in Tass's, but all the ones that I did play in were great. And the Guy Economy was just wall-to-wall Looney Tunes. It was just...
it was like a cartoon. Good night, Sarah.
It goes from 0 to ridiculous in about 2 seconds.
Oh, that's true. Dinos and lasers,
Dinos
not
and
dinosaurs.
Lasers.
Dinosaurs is too proper for these.
Yeah.
For these folks.
Can this be repeated on Discord?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's up to you. I mean, do you want to share your secret knowledge? Probably. You probably want to share. We're a sharing Discord.
We are. And Tass says he might have some very special art to share a bit in the Discord. That is true.
That's very true.
Yeah.
We have the shirt that is just for masks. That we won't be selling anymore once masks is finished. And I was talking to Joe today, and I had an idea for a shirt that could be specific to Crossroads Carnival. I gotta see if we can get it put together.
I was gonna ask you publicly in front of 32 other people what shirt you were thinking.
That'll be a surprise for the first episode of that, assuming that I can get it together. Get it together, Rev.
By the way, you can go get your shirt if you'd like to. Seamus says share it, but in a 2 truths and a lie style.
I feel like I don't think I could come up with 2 good enough lies for you not to guess instantly which one it was.
We had some people when we were playing Mystery Detectives that were trying to ask Megan and I the playbooks that we were playing in Crossroads Carnival.
Using 2 truths and a lie.
Oh, we didn't say anything.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I think unless anybody has any questions, I mean, we can sign off, or I guess we could, if Tass is still playing, we could join him for a game or 2 if you want. Or we could leave it on the new information.
Yeah. What inspired the episode in Rev's mind in season 1, episode 17?
A deep dive into I've had insomnia since I was, I think, 19 years old, and so it was kind of a deep dive into dream study, which triggered all of that.
That's the when you're talking about like notes that you like want, or that you're thinking about sharing with people. Like I want the breakdown of the candles and the circles, and I also like I want to know all the options that didn't happen in the funhouse, like all the other combinations. Also, I want the spoiler alert for later on in season 1. I want the like blueprints and like the heist plan from Strom.
Oh my gosh. The blueprints from Strom.
The blueprints from Strom is what I want. For the heist that never was.
For the heist that never was. Oh my gosh.
Chaotic asks, what's your favorite mechanic of all time?
I mean, if we're talking about like any game, I love spout lore. I love that it generates things into the world. I love what it does to change the world, especially like in our game that we played, like, okay, so da 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 da, and you also learn something you wish you didn't know, and here's what it is, or how do you know that? If it's monster of the week, I mean, for the pure simplicity of it. And it's funny because one of the very first interviews that I did, it was on a show called The Hard Move, where they have people come on and talk about one Powered by the Apocalypse movie. You can be from any game, you pick it. And so when they contacted me about doing that, I was like, yeah, I want to talk about Act Under Pressure. And they're like, why? I was like, I love that move.
Because
like,
I love it.
It is the move that makes the story happen. And so, yeah, I love Act Under Pressure because that is really where story moments kind of get born from.
Mm-hmm. Mike says, I've started using the something you wish you didn't know as a repercussion of failed investigative mystery roles, and it's a ton of fun.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's cool. Very, very cool.
I've been using it a lot just to give the enemy secret knowledge.
Just secrets. Just all sorts of secrets.
All sorts of secrets.
Rev just has like a little tally mark that he's
little list of just things they know.
Just things they know. They know this now.
Basically giving the enemies hold to ask me whatever question they want. Which works out well.
Do they have to use the provided list?
Yeah, but theirs is different.
Mm-hmm.
A monster's list is different than a hunter's list. All right, well, what do we got coming up this week, Kim?
Yeah. Thursday, June 10th at 7 p.m. Eastern, join Megan and I for Mystery Detectives. We're going to be doing part 2 of Nancy Drew the Deadly Device. The costume theme is electricity. Last week, Megan dressed up as Pikachu, and I dressed up as the Bride of Frankenstein. Very different applications of that theme. Monday, the 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern, join us for episode 6 of the Omniverse Chronicles Masks. I had so much fun playing that game yesterday. It was
sucked into our own dimension.
Yeah, we're going to be sucked into our own, I don't know. Landon apparently is going to have homework for us. And then next week, June 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern, join us for an episode 4 listen through of the Critshow with commentary. Let's see. Some last questions. Do you feel like the guys were more involved building the world as the episodes progressed in season 1?
I think that they were more involved in the world building. Like this is everyone. I think it's such a big part of our publicity. We play multiple games in the same story arc, so they were super involved with the world building of Other Worlds. But because Coin World is just kind of our world, there wasn't a whole lot for them to be involved in. Because I wasn't really involved in it. Like, we were just pulling from the world that we know. But when it comes to the other games that we play, yes, absolutely. Like that, those all had session zeros. This did not. Coin did not necessarily have a session 0 in the way that we do session 0 now for games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think just even solely what you were talking about with Spout Lore, I mean, the boys helped build Fanarin and Dungeon World, it seems like almost just as much as you did.
Alpo.
Yeah, Alpo. Thanks for the look ahead in the Q&A. Well, thank you for hanging out with us and asking us questions and joining us for our listening party of Coin. I don't think we have anything else. Get in those Q&A questions for season 3, please. But yeah, so we will see you next week for episode 4 of
this stream went short, so like this is like getting out of class early. So now your assignment is to go submit season 3 questions.
Even if you haven't finished listening to season 3, just random questions that you think might have happened. All right, everyone, have a good night. We'll see you later. Bye.
See ya.